Alright guys, Touchgripper here, back again today. Yesterday I did a little bit of a different video, wanted to take a break from the news and rumours, but today we're going to jump right back into it, focusing today on the rumoured Seattle roster with Karma, Apathy, and a few other big names for Source. So we'll get into that in the coming minutes. To start with, just wanted to say that for the last couple of days, we've been hearing rumours that London are imminently announcing more players. We know that Wuskin was already announced on the team. Things have gone back and forth about him saying he's not teaming with his brother, but we're pretty sure Dylan's going to be on the team. As far as I'm aware, I have been 200 IQ baited by the whole situation, and Scraps is in fact on London, and the plan is to announce that tonight, maybe by the time this video goes live. Very possible. So if that is the case, then keep in mind that the team supposedly right now is Wuskin, Scraps and Dylan, plus 2. I have a reasonable idea that who those guys should be. I'm pretty sure Rated's going to be one of them, especially given he just signed recently, or at least his tweets implied he signed. And my thinking on that matter is that, well, you know, where else would he have signed but London? So I think it's those 4, but don't quote me on that completely. We'll have to see when the announcements come out, but if that has just been announced, then I will discuss that tomorrow for sure. But slightly different topic of discussion for today. So like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you are new as always. I would greatly appreciate it, and let's crack on with this. Epsilon Esports, we are back, they say, focusing on their Belgian roots, but you know, Epsilon of course an organisation that has been around Call of Duty for a very long time. I'm pretty sure earlier last season or something they decided that, you know, they're going to chalk it up, and well, they could be back in business. Let's go through some player announcements then. So Pristini, after talking about how he doesn't have a team, he says the following: I got a squad of underrated players, scrap players, I'm gonna make it work. I appreciate you though, you the man. So I'm gonna go through a few of these. Thanks to Isaac Season for reaching out to me on Twitter, showing me that Damon Barlow tweeted it's about that time, implying he is signing a contract supposedly on this Seattle team. We'll go to that in a second. Let's just touch on the scraps rumours. Him and Dylan have a back and forth on Twitter yesterday. Can't wait to be in the trench with you, bro. And Scrap says the following: Doug thinks he's better than Jert. Someone wake me up, please. Interesting, of course, to mention Jert here. Like, I know that obviously we don't know exactly what's going on with the London spar, but the fact Scraps is mentioning Jert, my thinking was that maybe London would go full UK squad, right? But, you know, maybe with Scraps mentioning Jert, he's another target for consideration. We'll have to see how that goes in the coming days. And Scraps says tomorrow, well, he says today, that there should be an announcement. There's been a delay, it's out of our control, but the announcement will 100% be tomorrow, implying like by the time this video goes live. So that may already have happened. This is a tweet we already went through, of course, and this is TJ looking at methods here. So, thinking about heading to Vegas next month before the grind commences, signs a contract and wants to hit Vegas. So, interesting from TJ. Whether he has actually signed a contract, we'll go on to, I think, the rumour of where methods is right now. I think he might be rumoured to be at Toronto, which is intriguing. So, a couple more tweets to go through before we look at the actual full list of rumoured rosters at the current time. Bevels also says the following: don't you just love it when things all start coming together? Great news for Bevels. Who knows exactly what's happening with him? Is he going to be a player? Is he going to be like an S&D star substitute coach type of player? Is he going to be a coach, as he was, of course, before? So, interested to see what happens with Bevels, but I'm happy to see him landing on his feet at the very least. And Havoc says the following as well: not too much information really came out of Havoc for a long time, but it does seem like he has now signed a contract. And to finish off with it, the same thing from Octane. So let's go on to these rumoured rosters, starting with the New York one. This is a roster that we haven't talked about much at all. Let's just make sure this is going to be the right size on the screen. That should very much do. I will leave a link to this spreadsheet held by Kroenke, CDL Intel, down below in the description box if you'd like to check it out. As updates come through, then they get updated on this spreadsheet. I think I just looked at it, and I think there's only maybe one rumour that hasn't yet been updated on here, so it pretty much makes a lot of sense. Of course, this status are rumours. There's nothing confirmed here as of yet. This is the rumoured New York spot. Makes quite a lot of sense to me, especially Zero, especially being probably the most likely UK player to want to stay in the States, staying here with Zuma, and you know, attach from FaZe, of course, those 3 moving over, potentially temp and accuracy as well. So I'll probably just make some quick comments on the teams here as we go through, and then I'll focus in on this Seattle one. This is an interesting squad. I kind of like the look of it. Accuracy and Zero is the slower ARs. Temp can pretty much do what he wants, and then this Zuma attached duo coming back that we've seen a long time in the past and have had pretty damn good success together. I think Accuracy is also going to be a great player on this title, at least an above average assault rifle like he was in World War II. and Temp always a hugely talented player. Is this a potential championship winning roster? I'm not fully convinced right now, but it's certainly possible. We saw what happened in World War II with the type of teams that were winning championships in that game, especially that TK team early on. If you forget, Chino, Accuracy, Kenny, and Theory won the first 2 rosters of the year in World War II. So definitely this team could win a title, but in 5v5 maybe, I'm not putting too much stock behind this team as yet, but I think it looks pretty good on paper. So the Chicago team, this is the rumor right now. So Scump, Formal, Envoy, Arcetes, and Gunless, supposedly the squad. We've talked about this a few days ago, so I won't go into too much detail on it, but of course Hex, now as the co-CEO of NRG, involved with this squad almost certainly. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Yes, technically he's the co-CEO, but he's definitely being involved a lot with the Call of Duty side, the Chicago CoD team. Nothing confirmed in terms of coach, analyst, general manager yet. There's been rumors what TP is going to be up to, whether he will follow Scump onto this squad, but as of yet, as I say, nothing confirmed on that front, but I'd be interested, of course, to hear what you guys think down below. This is the Toronto Splyce team in question marks. I think there was a clip of Looney going around potentially showing that he leaked that he's going to Toronto, so I'll play that on screen for you guys now.
The podcast?
Yeah, in like January or something.
I'm with it in Toronto and shit. I'll set one up in my shit and whatever.
Make of that what you will, but it kind of makes sense. He's been with Splyce a long time. The rumours have it that Jerd isn't on this team, which maybe adds credence to the idea that he's going over to London. And there's some other players rumoured here. Kleenex is one, Lucky is one, Metals is one, Methods is one as well, Brack is one. And this is a kind of Splyce thing to do, to be honest, the way they're piecing these players together, these amateurs that may be, not necessarily amateurs, of course, these players have all done very, very well, but I mean like kind of players that a lot of other teams aren't considering as their first picks, and players from over in Spain, for example, really great. They're giving these guys the opportunity and picking up Brack and Kleenex and all these guys. If it does come to fruition, of course, it's just a rumour. None of this could be happening, but this is kind of a Splyce thing to do, kind of thing they've done in the past. You know, American organisation, but they've had UK teams in the past, so it wouldn't really surprise me to try and get some of the talented Spanish guys on the team. This is the rumoured Dallas team. We've got Crimsix and Clayster, which would be really, really cool to see, and then the 3 absolute cracked out guys. Apparently Hook is pretty damn, and of course we know that Hook really has control of this team, having for a long time. He's the golden child of Envy, hasn't won a championship yet, and still trying to find a roster that will work with him in. I did a video a while ago on whether he is in fact overrated, but you guys will have your thoughts on that for sure. Apparently he does want to play with Illy and Shotzi. Nothing confirmed yet. Shotzi may stay with the Splyce Toronto team, which has been rumoured, but at the same time, Hookilly and Shotzi could be an absolutely magnificent trio. So them combined with Clayster and Crimsix to teach him the ropes and get the respawns in the game, that could be filthy. Of course, Questions have it right at the start of the game, right? These guys coming straight into Respawn, having never played competitively Respawn before in their lives, at least in like a CDL, CWL environment. So have to see how they transition. Maybe it'll take them a little bit of time, but with Clayster and Crimsix, these are 2 of the ideal guys you'd want to teach these guys how to play Respawns, etc. So the Los Angeles OpTic team is rumoured to be the following. So not really OpTic anymore, not OpTic in terms of the content, but in terms of, by the content I kind of mean, it's somewhat of an empty shell. It's called OpTic, but it doesn't have any of the family aspects and all that stuff that has gone with OpTic for many, many years. And the people, of course, is really the main thing. But it's going to be called LA OpTic as far as we're aware. This, for me, is the scariest team right now. Dashi, TJ, Slasher, Kenny, and JCap. But I think we'll go on to this another day if this does in fact turn out to be true. Let's have a look at this Seattle spot. And this is what I was getting to. We'll go back to the other ones in a second because I wanted to focus the video on this. So I thought I'd talk through this roster for a little bit longer. Very, very interesting. Octane, Enable, and Slacked has been a trio rumoured related to Seattle. Now, this Seattle team is involved with Luminosity, but they're also involved with another organisation that kind of owns the spot. But LG are definitely involved in terms of, helping to manage the team and bringing in some more players that have played with them in the past. We know that Octane and Slacked have had good success with each other before, back in the day, and of course Slacked was tweeting things at Luminosity implying that he kind of signed for them, so it definitely makes sense that he's coming from LG straight onto this team. The rest of the team, very interesting. Now, Karma and Apathy are maybes right now, but the fact that they're kind of being linked here, and we'll just have to see how it goes. Enable, Octane, and Slacked, though, pretty interesting because I think this team was rumoured to have Envoy and Arcetes on it as well, which would have been, truly filthy. This squad also is very, very good, but Envoy and Arcetes seem to have left to go and play with Scump, Formal, and Gunless, which is obviously a fantastic trio. So Enable coming onto this team now with Octane from that 100 Thieves squad that won a couple of championships last year. he was great, to be honest, this year, and really helped keep the glue of this team together, because there's some personalities in here like Karma and Slacked, and maybe there could be some friction, but with Enable there, you can be pretty damn sure that this will be one of the most chilled teams in the league. And Apathy as well, of course. A lot of these guys getting to the latter half of their careers, I guess. Enable, Karma, Apathy, Octane not so much, but it still feels like these Octane and Slacked have been around for many years at this point, competing since Black Ops 3, I think maybe latter half of Advanced Warfare, something like that. They really started to come into the scene. So all of these players have been around quite a long time. But of course, the boots on the ground game and, slow, tactical, whatever you want to say, boots on the ground game may suit some of these guys, Karma, a little bit better than potentially in the past. But we'll have to see, because Apathy tends to have been very, very good on the more fast-paced games. Interesting squad. In terms of the dynamics, we'll have, of course, Octane on the assault rifle, the main AR. Then the rest of the team, we have a lot of SMG presence. Karma can kind of do what he wants. Ideally, I think you'd put Karma on an assault rifle here. I think that makes a lot of sense. I think he's, when he was on the SMG in the other half of the season, he's really not, he's not cracked up to be an SMG, to be honest. His playstyle, ever since really Black Ops 2, at least in the later dates, and the fact that Call of Duty plays so much quicker now than it used to, I don't think Karma's really cracked up to be an SMG. Makes much more sense to put Slacked and Apathy on those roles, and then you kind of see where Enable needs to fill in the gaps, because he can kind of use whatever, and he adds a lot of intangibles. Interesting team. I'm not sure I'd give it a championship contending stamp of approval just yet. I think that Octane is clearly the best player on this team right now. I think the other guys can be a little bit up and down for sure, and it's interesting to see if Karma does go onto this team, what we will see out of him post the OpTic gaming era. Maybe they will really light a fire under him and he'll start performing incredibly well. We'll have to see, but the fact that Envoy and Arzites have apparently left this team and have gone onto that Chicago team, replaced by Karma and Apathy, it's less clear that we can see that there's maybe there is some skill differential there, and that's why I'm not so sure that Seattle couldn't win a championship at their first time of asking, but we'll have to see down the line. So let's go through these other rosters. Atlanta, we've rumoured this for a long time. Simpa, BC, Selly, and Priester and Maniac. The interesting part about this is there's a rumour that Crowder could now be their coach, which of course would be a big deal. The impact he had on that 100 Thieves team last season when Priester came along with Priester seems to potentially be following him here. Even without like an IGL kind of figure on the team, with Crowder as coach, we really could be talking about a fantastic squad here. But of course, it's very Black Ops 4 based, it seems, right? Which is interesting for sure. This is the Minnesota rumor as well, which is pretty much like old Envy. So Assault, Silly, Aches, and Decimate supposedly joined by GodRx. So interesting, the Envy team and pretty much all of the, Assault, Silly, and Aches at least from the Evil Geniuses World Championship winning squad. The only missing figure is Apathy here, and they've brought Decimate in. They've got Silly on the squad. They've got GodRx in the team. This isn't a bad squad, and we saw the success 3 out of 5 of these guys had in the World War II season. Maybe it'll happen again. So to finish off with here, the Florida spot, I think there is a missing player here in that rumored is Havoc actually being on this team as well, which would kind of make sense as to the squad of underrated players that he's talking about, the Morkses, the Skies, the Frosty, the Pristini, and the Havocs of the world. That could be a very nasty underrated team, because you've got Morks and Skies on the ARs, Havoc and Pristini on your subs, and then Frosty doing whatever he wants. And this season, towards the latter half of the season, Frosty was just fantastic. So I'd keep an eye out for this team as kind of an underdog to see you going forwards. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like if you did, subscribe if you're new. As always, I would greatly appreciate it. Leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. I'll see you next time.